Hey, I am Dragonfly Jones, aka America is Musty.
I am the Jethro Jenkins, aka John.
I'm Gardy B, and this is the Jenkins and Jonez YouTube channel. We've got fresh YouTube exclusives dropping every week. Like and subscribe so you make sure you get everything in your feed. Welcome to Jenkins and Jonez on the Volume Podcast Network. It is Monday, March the 4th.
Schmarch.
It's Schmarch, baby. Lousy Schmarch weather. Got a lot of stuff to talk to you guys about today. We're very excited to talk about Braun hitting 40,000 points. We're going to talk Celtics. We're going to talk Thunder. We're going to talk Arby's. We're going to talk the new Schoolboy Q album. And we're going to do Dookie Butt of the Week. Packed Monday show for everybody. As always, Jenkins and Jonez, hosted by Dragonfly Jones, a.k.a. Tyler.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
Jethro Jenkins, a.k.a. John.
What's up, bubbas?
I'm Gardy B, a.k.a. Mike.
Motherfucking Mike.
And we're produced by the lovely and talented Jackson Saffron.
What's up?
All right. If you are not already following Jenkins and Jonez on every social media platform, go do so right now. Subscribe on the YouTube, youtube.com/@JenkinsandJones. It's a lot of Love is Blind fans in that YouTube right now. So if you would like to see us talk more basketball as we get to the playoffs, you better go tip the scales, because right now it's looking like an all reality show recap YouTube channel coming your way.
Hey, I told y'all, bro. That Love is Blind shit is, it's something else, man.
You did.
We're on the whole fucking stretch.
I didn't believe you, bro. I'm like, man, you gonna make me watch this bullshit? I was like, little like, do I have to do this? And now I'm like, bro, they're gonna have me in season 46, nigga. I'm here, dog. It's over with. I'm here.
I've been a day one, dog. Like,
Right.
it never disappoints, ever.
I'm gonna lie and say I've been a day one. Like everybody said they saw Kobe's 81.
Yeah.
Like, I've been this motherfucker watching
like
this
how
since day one.
Every
You know
single
what I mean?
person
We're
in
the
Long
Lord.
Beach says they were at Kobe's Lakers debut at the Pyramid for the fucking Summer League. And it's like, it only holds 4,000 people. I've had at least 6,000 people tell me they were there with me.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're already clearing our schedule. So we're clearing our schedule for Wednesday night for sure. But Shar and I already said, like, we're tapped in from the fucking first second of the next season, bro. I cannot wait for that shit. Did John tell you that we had a side chat going where we were just bitching to each other about, like, we really have to watch this shit?
yeah, he told me he hit y'all. But,
And then, I mean, John was miserable. And then as soon as the Megan Fox shit happened, that chat, I think the next time we texted each other was he was just hit me up to ask about Vinny pitching. Because it was like, Love is Blind is happening in the real chat now, and we're fucking fired up.
At this point, Mike hadn't watched anything, so I'm like trying to gear Mike up. All right, man. I'm just letting you know this shit weak as fuck, dog.
It's like, you got to
feel
push
me?
through a big day.
Push through, dog. Come on, man. You can't leave me out here hanging. You feel me? And then that Megan Fox shit happened, and I was in the main chat talking that shit. Then you feel me? Like, come on, man.
I ain't gonna never steer y'all wrong, man.
Yeah, man. I
That's a
should have
fact.
trusted
Know
you.
that
That's
about
my
that.
fault. That's my fault. That ain't, you know what I'm saying? That's all me.
All right. If you are a Love is Blind Jenkins and Jonez recap fan, we do have, as we mentioned on our last episode, Mina Kimes' recap of the episodes that have just been dropped this last week. That will be out on Tuesday, so look for that. We're very excited
Big
for
dog
that.
coming through, stomping with us, talking Love is Blind.
You know, it'll be our third time having Mina on. One time we talked about football. One time we talked about Fruit. And this time we're talking about Love is Blind.
I love that Mina just comes and shoots the shit with us, you know? I like that lane we kind of carved out with her.
The
Yeah.
football one was off brand. You know what I'm saying? The fruit
Yeah,
and,
Right.
you know, Love is Blind.
one of
That's
the best
us.
football analysts in the
right.
world, and that was an offshoot right there.
Right. All right, let's try and wrap our heads collectively around LeBron James scoring 40,000 career points, a mark so untouchable no one has even bothered to refer to it as untouchable. It wasn't even one of the white whales out there. No one would ever even have thought someone would have done it. Tyler, you retweeted someone who made, I thought, the craziest point about this, which was that it took him the exact same number of games to go from 30,000 points to 40,000 points as it took him to go from 0 points to 10,000 points.
Yeah, that's just Mr. Consistency there. Mr. 27, 7, and 7, you know, just being the consistent guy that he always fucking is, right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But how do you wrap your head around? I feel like everything LeBron does at this point is just another like deep breath, eyes wide open moment of like, I can't fucking believe we're seeing this, But how do you wrap your head around 40,000 career points in the NBA?
It's just it's an unfathomable number. Like it's to put it in perspective, KD, who a lot of us think is probably the purest scorer we've ever seen in our lives, he's only got 28,000, right? And that's a dude with multiple scoring titles, a bucket just about every time he decides to put it up, right? And and it's an unfathomable number. No one's ever touching that. No one's going to play at a high enough level for 21 fucking years, and eclipse that. It's just unbreakable. That's going to be like some Iron Man, Lou Gehrig shit right there. No one's touching that.
It's weird seeing how he's changed his game over the years, too. Like, I never thought I'd say he's shooting 40% from the three-point line. We thought he'd go in the post, and be working in the pivot. And he did the opposite. You know what I'm saying? And it's wild to see. Like, we can't, 3 years ago he was playing point guard?
Right.
Like, the dude can literally do anything. It's wild. And, talking about, KD, I think KD's, close to, what is it, his third 50, 40, 90 season this year? You know what I'm saying? And nowhere near anything that, Bron's doing. It just doesn't make any sense. I literally cannot wrap my head around 40,000 points. Nothing makes any sense around that.
Yeah. To your point, I think we all thought old man Brown was going to be a back to the basket, old man game type guy. And he has just converted into the complete opposite of that, right? Like he is just, he for sure can get to his spots. He for sure is still a great driver, a great finisher, but he's way more of like a mid-range guy, right? Like he's way more of a guy who picks his spots outside of the paint right now. And we did not see that coming when we thought about the quote unquote old man game that Brown would have. The homie Tony CMKE hit me and he said, I looked at random pairings today to see who Bron has outscored by himself and just laughed. Larry Bird and Giannis, T-Mac and David Robinson, Steph and Kyrie. Like he has more points by himself than all those duos. That's ridiculous.
That's preposterous.
Yeah. That's incredible, dog.
I think
never seen anything like the dude, man.
I think the other thing when you just talked about the how much he's changed the way that he scored is consider what the NBA looked like 20 years ago. And consider that he scored his first 10,000 points in the same number of games as he scored the most recent 10,000 points. It's a completely different league. Like the rules around scoring, what is incentivized in scoring have changed so much that the NBA is considering being the first American professional sports league, maybe in our lives, to pass rules making defense easier to play. They're considering bringing back so I find that aspect of it insane. You mentioned, okay, he's not as physical. He's not going back to the basket the way we thought. He's going more outside. Well, that's what the NBA has done.
Right.
And this is just a human being who seems like you could drop him down on any basketball court, anywhere in the world, at any time in history, and he would play whatever game they were playing better than whoever was playing.
Were people still playing the triangle when he came into the league?
I
feel like that was
Kobe,
when he
Kobe
first
was
came
getting rings off that shit.
You feel me? That's and now and he's changed his game so many times. I remember, was it Game 7 against the Spurs when he hit 5 threes, and it was. I remember him being like, I don't know what's going on. Yeah. They ran the Spurs. That was after Ray Allen's big shot in Game 6, and he had 5 threes, and that was that's what you wanted him to do. That's the only way to keep him from getting the bucket. And he's shooting 40% from the 3-point line at fucking damn near 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
All right. Jackson, are the Celtics winning the NBA championship this year? Yes or no question?
Yeah, of course they are.
Okay. The Celtics
completely
today,
unbiased opinion right there.
Completely unbiased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They picked up their third 50-point win of the season today. I believe they're the first team to do that. They are out here clubbing NBA teams like they're baby seals.
Damn.
Did you see the quote from Steph afterwards? That's what we used to do to people. Aw, buddy.
We used to be those assholes running it up and just
they just beat this team in
out.
the finals 2 years ago, bro. You know what I mean? Crazy.
There is something about though, and we talked about this with the Bucks last year with how easy they were making everything look in this stretch, in this last month and a half until the playoffs. there is something to kind of throwing the gauntlet down, right? You beat the Warriors by 50 points in March. You are making a statement, right? You are saying, this is our shit. We are winning it this year. I don't give a fuck if we lacked a killer instinct or whatever else we lacked the previous years. We just cut the head off of that team, and we're for real this year. Do y'all buy that from the Celtics?
Why not? I feel like someone has to win the East. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not completely confident in the Celtics. Same way I'm not all the way sold on the Bucks, even though the Bucks have been playing incredible since the All-Star break, undefeated. But like I said, somebody's got to win the East. So why not them? So yeah, I can see it happening.
I think they can win the East for sure. I just I don't know if I trust them to play in ways they haven't played in big moments, bro. The issue was that they just seemed a little mature, or at least turning the ball over too much when it mattered. They looked like this last year. They were breaking records for efficiency. You feel me? In ways that nobody ever seen before. And then we saw what happened. And I want to see Tatum with a ring. You know what I mean? I just don't. They're gonna have to show me. I just don't. We've seen this for the last 3 seasons. You know what I mean? Let's see it in the play. Let's see it when it fucking matters. On the biggest stage.
Jackson, I feel like you're in the same spot I was in as a 49ers fan this year. That I think Dodgers fans feel a little bit in the same spot of no one will argue with you that the Celtics are bad. But
yeah, right.
Obviously they're good. Obviously they're really good. Obviously the appropriate expectation is championships. But I also know as a fan in that situation, you can do what you just did. You could talk yourself into why it's different, et cetera, et cetera. But there's also that gnawing fear at the base of your skull that's someone's going to make Jaylen Brown go left.
Yeah.
Something really stupid is going to happen. So how do you actually feel as a Celtics fan watching what they're doing right now with the playoffs just around the corner?
How I actually feel,
yeah,
earnestly, is that they're head and shoulders the best team in the East, which their record sort of illustrates. And I think it's sort of results-wise, it's tough to argue at this point, I think. You could argue the Bucks get there, yada, yada, yada.
Agreed.
I think they're, even come the playoff time, they are head and shoulders the best team in the East. And they've proven that even before they were this good, before they had this level of talent on the roster, they didn't have as much of a problem with Milwaukee or Philly in the playoffs. They beat them both recently. So I think the East is not only the expectation is that they should win, it's that it's a massive, massive disappointment if they don't win the East. The West, I mean, Denver is so good. Denver is still, I think, so good. So I don't think, and they have the number one at this point matchup nightmare in the league. Jokic is just straight up unguardable. He's unguardable. And when the only weak spot of your defense is a big man stopper. Kristaps is obviously a good paint protector, but they don't even match him up against Joel Embiid when they play the Sixers, right? He's not this bruising, I'm going to guard your best big type. So when that's the only weakness of the team already, it's Denver is scary. And I would not be surprised by any means. If you were Denver wins in 5, I would be yeah, I could see it. They're just so good. But I still think that talent-wise, there is a lot of gnawing sort of, until they get it done, how can you really believe it? But also those players, I do think there's a little bit to you've been there, so you could learn from it a little bit from Tatum and Brown. And then
you poor son of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, I know
that's me and Kyle Shanahan about a month and a half ago.
100%. And it could very well happen again. It could very well happen again in June. But I think you have both dramatically more talent than 2 years ago, having Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, and Derek White being a dramatically better player than he was 2 years ago. So to help offset any sort of chaos that comes with the Jason and Jalen, and also on top of that, you have replaced Marcus Smart's decision making. I love Marcus Smart with all of my heart. You've replaced his decision making with Drew Holiday's, which is a massive, massive, massive difference in the team's ability to execute, in my opinion, ability to execute at the ends of games. You're not just relying on JT to just go ISO ball and win you the game. It's such a different way the offense functions at this point that it's tough. They're really hard to guard.
Yeah.
I think in series though, like you're gonna need guys to step the fuck up. Like, I think like they play different, but you're gonna need Jason to play in a way that we know he can play that he hasn't shown
For
in
sure.
the playoffs.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So even though they've changed, you don't need him to, go nuclear. Like I know we've seen him drop 50 in a game 7.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we need consistency out of you in order to win.
Completely agree.
If he's averaging 30 in the playoffs, you gotta, I think you got a real fucking shot. But you're gonna need that Jason Tatum. You feel me?
For
It's
sure.
reliable every
Ultimately,
fucking
you need closers. You need, if not the best player in a series, that you need at least the second best player in a series. All of that still remains true. I just think that the roster makeup and all of those pieces, it just gives such a high floor to the way that the team functions on a game in and game out basis that it's like they don't really have any weaknesses other than this like general like can they do it feeling, which is palpable and you can feel it, but also like not really. It's hard to like sort of put your hands on. So like when you just look at the team, it's like, okay, the weakness is that their coach is really young. Like, yeah,
You can't quantify the weakness, but you smell that shit.
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
100%. And until they get the ring, until they get the trophy,
You're
until
the
it
parent of a
hits
toddler
double
digging
zeros.
around in the trunk right now. Like I smell it coming from somewhere.
Yes.
I don't know where it is or
Right,
what it
right.
is, but I can smell it all the way at the front of the car.
100%. And like I'm being earnest when I talk about talk about the Celtics and how I think they're the best team in the league and how they should win. And also it was less than a year ago that I saw them go down, again, not with the same roster, but they went down 0-3 to the Miami Heat, who had no business even being that far. So I'm certainly not dumb to the idea that this team could have a complete garbage 5 out of 7 days in May, and then I look really stupid.
I mean, yeah. I feel like you understand. Like, you probably have friends or know Celtics fans who are like, of course we're winning the championship this year. You've worked in sports too long. You have like
I'm a little
fear.
jaded. Yeah, I have the gnawing fear. But I will say that to your point about making a statement, like the Warriors are not the Warriors of several years ago, but they still had won like 13 of 16. They were playing really well. Smacked them. Smacked Dallas the 2 days before that, who had also won like 8 of 9 or whatever. And then this coming week, they go at Denver and at Phoenix. Talk about statement a couple weeks here for the Celtics if they can win some of those games. Then it becomes you're winning 10, 12 in a row plus beating the defending champions. Like I'm not that means anything come June or whatever, but if you want to talk about making statements,
It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt.
Get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers who deposit $5 or more can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 back in a bonus bet.
Bron and the Lakers are looking a little better, so I'm excited to see how they do coming out of All-Star break with some big games against the Warriors and the Suns coming up.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Jenkins. New customers can get a no-sweat bet up to $1,000 if your first bet loses. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code Jenkins, Jenkins. The crown is yours. All right, let's talk about young, dumb, and full of prescient basketball decisions. The Oklahoma City Thunder, John texted the group chat, what was the last team this young that was so consistently making the right decisions with the basketball? And Tyler and Jackson, I think, correctly answered, it was the Thunder with in the baby Thundo, one of the most fun basketball eras of the last 20 years. But John, what has you so excited about this Thunder team?
I don't know. I just feel like they make all the right decisions. They make the game look easy. And I would say that like the other Thunder team, the 2012 Thunder team was a much better team. You know what I'm saying? This is a talented team, but that was a much better team. But this team, when I look at them, I'm like, they make the game easy. I'm not going to say that with a Westbrook ran OKC team. He made the motherfucker look really hard sometimes. He was just so good that he could that
force of
affect
will
him in the same way. Yeah, it didn't affect him in the
will.
same way. But yeah, exactly. But this team, the decision making jumps out at you, and I don't see that with a young team like this. I mean, on both ends, they're so disciplined. I'm watching an NBA game and I'm like, wow, this is a well coached basketball team. Like, I'm like, how they make me feel old watching them.
They just play the game the right way,
right? Because those are the thoughts that I have watching the squad. You know what I mean? Like. So yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, like, dude, but I'm I love SGA. I always talk about how he's such a great player, but they surrounded him with some really good players, and they just are a smart basketball team. Like, basketball can be like, I hate watching bad basketball. It can be abysmal when it's bad, and young players, play the worst basketball generally. And these young kids at like SGA is 27, 25, something like that.
25.
The average age of the team, what did you guys say, was 23.7 or something?
And they're playing some of the most like beautiful basketball. It's like seeing hoopers that are also basketball players. And at this young age, you just don't see that a lot, bro. They're not pressed to do shit. They take exactly what you give them. You know what I mean? And on defense, they're just disciplined as shit. I'm like, dog, like I said, I feel like an old man watching these niggas. Like, I texted, I was like, I might just be old, but it just jumps out at me how well they're coached. Crazy.
Yeah. Tyler, are you as excited about the Thunder decision making as John? And do you think that the reason that the last two smart young basketball teams that we saw are in Oklahoma City is because it is a distraction-free basketball environment comparatively?
I think it's a well-ran franchise, right? Like, I think we have to give Preston and that front office their props. And I think a shining example of that is how easily Chet has adapted, right? Like, because, he was injured last year, and we know that OKC is a franchise who, bro, they were not going to have that dude twiddling his thumbs, right? We know he was for sure in film sessions. He was in practices. He was getting one-on-one work in. He was learning what he needed to do to fit in with this team's schemes. And you can see how seamless the transition has been in his first, full years of NBA player, right? So I think that Chet just, making this shit look very easy in his first year is for sure a testament to the culture that OKC has there. And SGA, Chet and Jalen, bro, an incredible big three right there, right? Like, they are just so fucking good. And I think that once Chet makes that leap that he is going to make, that he is inevitably going to make, like, I mean, I think they're going to get a ring or two there, bro. Like SGA and Chet, that is a potential best duo in the league combination right there one day for sure.
Interesting. I don't know that I agree that it's inevitable.
You don't feel that way about OKC?
He's a Chet hater, man.
He's a Chet hater.
No, bro. How much Chet do you watch though? Because I'm like, when I see Chet play,
I've watched the Thunder play. No, but I don't quibble with the word inevitable in terms of his actual development. I'm not sold long term on there not being an injury risk there. I mean, that's my like. There's a lot. Well, I mean, you roll your eyes, but I mean, like, with his body type and the fact that he
I'm not rolling my eyes at that.
Oh, okay.
I don't want like putting shit out there. I believe in the universe and all that. I don't want to. I'm just hoping that it's not true.
Oh, okay, yeah, but I don't know, but I mean, I think that to me is it's like I think if he's healthy all this year and next year, then I think you start going like, oh, okay, that was a one-off freak injury or something like that. But I don't know. I'm definitely concerned about that. They obviously have no choice but to build around the guys they have. They can't do anything about those risks. I mean, I'm sure they're doing what they can do about them, but I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting. I would be happy for. I had a lot of respect for, like you said, the way the Thunder run their franchise, aside from moving the team. But they're definitely worthy of success. And I would add, like, for as much of the big market, small market jokes as we like to make, and everyone likes to make, it was, I love that. I was a huge fan of those Thunder teams with the young trio, and the atmosphere they had in their arena was fucking electric. Like,
It was.
I mean, that was like appointment viewing, even if you didn't fuck with, KD and Russ and Harden the way that we all did. But like, it was just, I mean, if it was the cliche at the time to say it, but it felt like NCAA basketball. It felt like March Madness in the NBA playoffs. But just how willing everyone was to put on the same shirt and, like, you know what I mean? It had a very like old school type of a feel, I think.
That 2012 team, I don't know who like led in fourth quarter points during that playoff run, but I felt like KD didn't miss a fourth quarter shot until the finals. Like, he was scaring the shit out of me. That team was so fucking good. And then in the finals, they just, the lights
you
were
guys
too bright.
were-
They were playing against the Heatles. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I
you
thought
guys
they were
were
going
all
to beat
in
that
on
Heat team.
You guys were all in on the Heat. You were like rooting hard against the Thunder at that time.
I
Yes?
was, but I was extremely fearful of KD,
Yeah,
I did not
and
wanna
that
see
squad.
OKC.
They had a hell of a run throughout the West
Yeah.
prior. You know what I mean? And KD was average. It was a 35. It was like, okay, remember when Jordan wouldn't get 30, and you're like, if Jordan didn't get 30, it wasn't a good game. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a scorer. We talk about all the defensive shit. Jordan was getting buckets. You feel me? Like if he did 35, acceptable. I didn't get excited about 35 watching MJ. It felt like that with KD and that run. And I mean, and even when we with the Warriors, like 35 is normal. I'm not excited about that. 40 ball, okay, damn, he went crazy. But a 36-point game, I mean, that's what KD's doing right now, and that's what he started in 2012.
I was rooting for
That's
the
what
Thunder.
it felt like, at least.
I was rooting for the Thunder. Even
As a Westbrook fan?
I mean, I was a bigger KD fan. KD and Russ. I mean, those like two of my three favorite players in the league at that time. Probably that weren't Lakers, with Bron being the other one.
Yeah, KD was my second favorite player in the league. Like,
yeah, I think
easily, bro.
I think what I was rooting for was for that to happen like 5 more times in a row. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was like something we all kind of missed out on for sure. But.
We just didn't know how impossible it was. See, until we saw Harden averaging 36 a game. You know what I mean? Like, that was never going to happen. We just didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, Tyler, you're back fighting the unwinnable battle, defending the honor of the Arby's Corporation. I respect it. I respect this so much. Explain why you've been back fighting the haters on behalf of Reginald Arby.
I mean, for one, I am an Arby's truth. I legit think it is a great fast food franchise.
It's delicious. They have great fries.
Yes, I didn't know people look down on Arby's until Twitter. Right, Twitter is Arby's is fine dining around these parts, dog.
Nigga, when we traveling, dude, we had appointment stopping driving from St. Louis to Chicago. There was one in Lincoln, Illinois, and we would stop there every time and get the fucking Arby's All-American. We would be excited about that while driving to fucking Chicago, bro. That shit's delicious.
Arby's is fucking delicious, but they just rolled out a fucking sugar maple bacon sandwich on a King's Hawaiian roll. Now, if you say that isn't going to, if you object to that, if you
fix your fucking mouth,
if you fix your fucking face to say that a bacon sandwich on a Hawaiian roll isn't delicious, we're just not being truthful here, bro. That is undeniable. There is no way you can say that you are not a little bit intrigued, at least, at how delicious a fucking bacon sandwich on a King's Hawaiian roll is, unless you're being a hater, bro.
The thing with that, though, is like, that's a very at-home sandwich. Like,
Yes.
Are they adding anything else? You know what I mean? Because I'm not
they
I love
got,
Polish on wheat bread. Like I Polish wheat bread and a motherfucking mustard on that bitch. That shit is delicious. I'm not gonna buy that somewhere though. You know what I mean?
They got like a BLT option where you can get like lettuce and tomato with the shit, and they got like a turkey and like a roast beef option where they just put the bacon on the shit. On the roast beef or on the
roast
turkey.
beef,
So.
you gotta go. Why are you getting turkey at
Turkey.
Arby's? That's nigga's
turkey
problem.
BLT, turkey
No,
bacon.
but no, we at
Ooh.
Arby's. Get the roast beef. That's what they known for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Give
what
me
they
your rank these 3 sandwich fast food places: Subway's, Arby, and Jersey Mike's.
Oh, Jersey Mike's is, if we're talking just straight sandwiches, right? Like Jersey Mike's is the GOAT, bro.
All right, cool. All right, for sure.
Jersey
I
Mike
agree.
is the best fucking sub chain.
But
in
I
the
think
world.
Arby's is better than Subway, bro.
I
Oh,
agree.
for sure.
Oh,
yeah. It's blowing Subway out there.
I don't even like how Subway smells when I walk in that bitch. You know, every Subway smells
yoga,
the same.
It's that yoga mat smell, dog.
Yeah, nigga, that shit crazy, nigga. Yoga mat smell. God damn, bro.
That's the smell of the machine.
That made my
It takes
stomach
it,
hurt.
you push in the yoga mats, and the bread comes out the other side. That's the smell of that machine. There's nothing worse than Subway smell, bro.
Yeah, it smells terrible, bro.
Horrible.
Subway to me smells like when Shar and I were in college, we would deliver the newspaper. We delivered the student newspaper I worked at because they would pay you to do it. And where we would pick up the papers was the same place where the trash got picked up. And I swear to God, Subway smells exactly like the blend of garbage and fresh newsprint. Like, just like, you just walk in and you're like, These are chemicals that don't belong with each other, like entering my nose at the
Definitely
same
not
time.
in my nose. You know what I mean? Like, fuck out of here.
All right. I haven't had a chance to fully digest it, but I want to hear y'all have been talking about the new Schoolboy Q album in the group chat, and I just want everyone to get to hear what y'all have had to say about it, / for you to gas me up about listening to it. Tyler, why do you love this album so much?
For one, we're all big Schoolboy fans, right? Like, love the dude's music. His music he's one of those guys who makes artistic, fun music, right? Like, you can tell that he's someone who loves what he does. But this album, bro, and I want to be clear, I'm very high on Schoolboy. I have said for years that I think that Blank Face is the best rap non-Kendrick album that TDE has ever released. And I think that this album, I think that Blue Lips, I think it's the best shit that Schoolboy ever cooked up for us, bro. I think it's the best work that he's ever given us. It is so incredible. It's a very ambitious album where it feels like he nailed every risk that he took. There's beat switches galore. He's going with the soul sample flips, and that's kind of something new, to Schoolboy. We really haven't seen him really go down that lane, but y'all know me, that soul sample shit, like, that is my shit. If you're a rapper who's gonna have on some soul sample beats, you got me, bro. It's that fucking simple. And he really, really showed out on this album. Like I said, it's a very ambitious album where it feels like he nailed every risk that he took, and the music is just incredible. Like, thank God for me. Can't tell you how many times I played that this week, and it's so fucking good.
I remember seeing, like, I was watching The Boiler Room and heard Thank God for Me and was like dancing in my living room. I don't feel that way about rap anymore. Like, I don't remember the last time I felt like this about a rap album. It definitely wasn't last year. You know what I mean? Maybe K-Dot. You feel me? Like, I don't really get this caught up where I'm playing rap albums for. I could see myself playing this throughout the year. Kind of like with like, and it's just the feeling of it is like, it's such a, like the places it goes are so varying, right? But it all still feels so cohesive, which is so odd to me. I don't know how they did it. I was talking to Tyler, like, maybe the elements are the same and, the execution is just different on each song. But I want to know, like, what producers, I want to research the album and see how they made it feel so cohesive, being that he goes to so many different places. And he mixes in, like, really rapping shit with, like, the hood shit. And, like, for me, K-Dot's the best rapper, potentially on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Best from TDE. But Schoolboy is my favorite rapper. Like, I've listened to more Schoolboy than K-Dot, probably bought times 5. You know what I mean? And bro, like this, I was telling Tyler, I didn't want to say it, but this is his best work. This is his best work. It's fucking beautiful. And I think on every level, it's a 10 out of 10 to me. Like, even the rollout, you know what I mean? It's just, I while listening to this, I smile because I'm proud of the nigga, like I know him. Because I feel like we grew up with him. Like like, like you grow up on rappers. Like, we grew up on Snoop, but we didn't grow up with Snoop. We grew up with Schoolboy. So it feels a particular way seeing him create a work this beautiful. And he's been so open about his struggles, like with losing Mac and his struggles with, depression and whatnot. And to see this man like create such a beautiful piece of work, bro. Like, I feel proud of the dude. Like, it is so, so, so good. And I could see myself listening to this for years to come. It's just and also one thing I want to point out too is like, it just that whole group, like we've seen that whole like group of people that came up at the same time, like even like Vince, you know what I'm saying? Like, how he's changed his music and it's become so artful. And I hope, there's room for NBA Youngboy and all that shit, but I hope that people are listening to this shit and follow this path too. Because this is the type of rap music that I fucking am a fan of. You know what I mean? And I'm old and, fuck me, nigga. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need a 25-year-old trying to make music for me. You know what I'm saying? But I do hope there's some guys listening and pick up on this shit. Because it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of work.
Yeah. Going back to what you said about how, we like grew up with Schoolboy. That was kind of a feeling that I had listening to this album. It feels like an album that was very true to his personality, right? Yep. It feels like, like you said, you were proud of it. I'm sure Schoolboy is proud of it too, because it's just an album like, you got Schoolboy and you got Kendrick. Kendrick is a bit of a recluse. He shows us his personality at times, but Schoolboy has let us in. Like, we know that he's a funny, humorous dude. kind of in the same vein as Redman, where their album is like an embodiment of their personality.
Mhm.
It feels like that with this album, right? It feels like a very Schoolboy album in the sense of this is this man bearing his soul, bearing his personality, the Schoolboy that we all know that he's led us in to see.
And to speak to that, when we were at South by Southwest, when we saw him at Peckerheads, which is crazy, nigga. Like, first time seeing Kendrick was in a dive bar. There was two sides of it. Somebody else was playing on the other side. Then we went to the other side and it was Big Crit. You know what I'm saying? Then we went to the other side after there was MGK.
Fucking era, dog.
You know that, but what a time. And MGK was fire. That performance was great. But anyway, different MGK. But anyway, like, bro, like, Kendrick and Schoolboy both walked out to 6th Street. You know what I'm saying? Schoolboy opened up for Kendrick. And I remember thinking, like, I didn't really know. I think he was he on Michael Jordan mode with Kendrick and that's the only thing I really heard from Schoolboy prior. But I'm like, I don't know if he got anything else. He might be the homie that just got one feature and his music trash. And I was like, yo, fell in love with him. He jumped in the crowd, was rapping with Jabari back and forth and shit. Like, it was hella cool.
Then
after
Habits
it,
and Contradictions dropped. And goddamn.
Woo, you hear me? But after the performance, Kendrick kind of ducked off, like through ninja dust, nigga. I looked over, saw Kendrick right next to me. Looked over again, he was gone. Schoolboy sitting out there rapping with everybody, chilling.
Right.
You know what I mean? Very different personality. So that's maybe why he's my favorite. I feel like his music's more relatable. You know, even as a nigga that didn't grow up, you know, as a Crip, none of that shit. You feel me? Well, no, none of that type of shit. He makes it. Yeah, he makes it very. I don't know. His music very relatable to me. And as a nigga that doesn't drive a Rolls Royce, I feel like I can feel what he's talking about. You know what I mean? But I think
You're
that's
depriving the world
of
Loke Jethro Jenkins.
Oh,
you know
no,
what I mean?
we ain't. Nah, we ain't proud of that. No,
you don't
sir.
You don't fuck with Loke Jethro Jenkins?
I mean, bro, what do I have to do in order to get that? I'm not built for that shit, nigga. You feel me? None of that. But yeah, so it's just, I don't know, like, he's like you said, he's been very open, you know, about what he's going through, and to see him get to this point and create such a beautiful piece of work, like I said, I'm just proud of the man. But it is so fucking good, and I think, you know, it's early as fuck, but I can't see a world where this isn't, you know, doesn't get a Grammy nom. You know what I mean? At least in the rap, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I don't know, bro. It's really, really good. What's interesting too is when I first listened to it, I was playing it in the background, and I'm like, you know, I'm fucking with it and shit. I didn't really get to sit down till Saturday while I'm like cleaning up playing it, and it's just like not a skip on the album, not a single skip, you know, like, and he jumps from, you know what I'm saying, thank God for me to, like, you know what I'm saying, like, jazz shit right after that. Like, he's sampling Chicken Head, then a jazz sample, and then the horns, and then a fucking piano. I'm like, nigga, the keys. I'm like, bro, he going everywhere with it. And it just all is, you know, it's a gumbo of an album. You know what I'm saying? That roux keeping it all locked in. I wonder what the roux is. What's a connective tissue? I've been trying to, like, sit, like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is it that makes it all of this so cohesive? I don't understand it, but it's a work of art, Joe.
Yeah,
flat out.
Yeah, you know, it's like I said, like, there's tons of, like, beat switches. There's tons of times where he just lets a beat ride for 10 seconds and then it's a completely different beat. It's like it's a cohesive chaos, if that makes sense, right? Like,
Crazy.
It's an experience when you listen to it, because, you know, he takes you so many different places, and there's times where you're like, oh, why you switch the beat? I love that beat. Then you're like, hold up, I love this fucking beat too, right? Yeah.
And then he does shit with, like, Smile, where he gives you 1:12. Boom, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he says, I think he says the end at the end, or finito or some shit, and then that's the end of the album. And then somebody hit him like, yo, is there more of Smile? He's like, yeah, but this is what you get. It's like, you know, like to me, I feel like the way he approached this shit, I really would want like an interview of how he approached making this album.
Yeah.
Because it's truly special. It's truly special.
Did you see
But
what
even
he
like
said
the
on-
Childish Major song, that's Childish Major's song, basically. You feel me?
Mm.
But it's like, this makes sense here. So I don't give a fuck if, like, Childish Major is the one that, like, you know, I don't have to shine in this moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
Bro, I don't know, man.
Did you see
Just
Did you see what he said on Twitter when someone asked him if he was gonna, like, drop a deluxe version with 2 or 3 extra songs? He was like
19 songs. What are you talking about?
Well, he was like disgusted. He was like, I'm not. He's like, I think he said like, I care too much about this.
Yeah.
Like, I put the album out I want to put out. I'm not gonna make people rebuy it for another 2,000 in sales. Like, fuck that.
Right.
I love that. Yeah, and only good things come from that approach. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And even like I said, I talked about the rollout, but like if you watch the videos, like he's editing some of the rollout videos. Like his house is flooding, you know what I'm saying? And he's getting a haircut, editing some of the videos himself. Like he was so engrossed in every part of this.
Like a motherfucker.
It feels like it's so much of him, and it's I don't know, man. Just great shit.
Shall we
tapped in, Jackson? Does Schoolboy interest you at all? I know you're really young.
He does. I haven't listened to this album yet. I am a fan of his, but I have not listened to this album yet. I'm excited to.
Best album I've heard maybe since K Dot. And I'll listen to this more than K Dot, but that's just I'm not, that's subjective. You feel me? So
let's end on Dookie Butt of the Week. I will go first. I actually have two, but I will go first and say I'm the Dookie Butt of the Week because I asked John's daughter to give us a topic, and she said earrings, and I have nothing to say about earrings. So
you was on my head too. You was like, "Nah, we doing this earrings." Nah, cuz.
I don't know. Yeah, we gotta just get she and Maya together for an earring segment because I don't.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? All I know is this: you got to make sure you. How old was Somi when you guys had her ears pierced?
I think 6 months. We took her to the doctor at 6 months.
We did Maya's at a mall place like a year ago, and it was definitely like she was old enough to be like she was cool when she got them pierced, but then she had a real thing about like cleaning stuff and like changing them and everything. She was like she would be really stressed about it. She would get home from school and start being stressed about it happening before bed. You know what I mean? So but doing it as a baby, I respect that.
I got my ears pierced at 18, and I felt the same way. So I get it. Maya, that makes a lot of sense.
And you gotta stay on top of that. That motherfucking ear gunk is atrocious from the motherfucking piercings, dog.
You feel me?
Yeah.
All right, my other Dookie Butt of the Week, and I actually don't have the full backstory on this. I just think this is one of the, and I suspect that the backstory is not funny, but the Meek Mill 40-year-old virgin tweet that he posted last week is one of the most preposterous tweets I've ever seen. Did y'all see that shit?
No. What did he say?
I take it that there was people were starting rumors that he's gay or something. I know I've seen stuff like that all the time. I don't find I don't find that stuff all that funny, but this tweet is a true masterpiece. This is from actual Meek Mill. When I got a girl around me, I'm fucking her twice a day.
Oh yeah.
LOL. Ask some of your favorites. Pussy don't control me, but it's like a high. One love to the gay people, but that juicy pussy do it for me. Smiley face. I done ran red lights to get that feeling. Y'all weird on here like devils. LOL. That is the most 40-year-old virgin. I squeezed her breasts and it felt like a sandbag shit I've ever heard in my life,
bro. This Twitter user Washed Reese, I think his name was, said Meek Mill is like if Junior from My Wife and Kids was a rapper, and that is just the most perfect explanation. Every time Meek Mill starts Meek Milling, I just think of that tweet, bro. He is Junior from My Wife and Kids, man.
Damn.
Do you remember that? Was it a photo of him where he was like, take a photo of me, and he was like hanging upside down, holding two like some bamboo or some shit? Like this nigga. Bro, but that's what's wild is if you look at old videos of Meek Mill, like I'm talking about the fucked up braid Meek Mill. You know what I mean? Like, how do you become the nigga hanging upside down, holding bamboo, nigga? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
Bro was in the trenches surrounded by goons.
Goons,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And made one of the most perfect songs to commit crimes to in the history of music, bro. I sent y'all the video, like it's high school basketball players still celebrating doing shit with that song. You know what I mean? Like that's insane.
Yeah, Dreams and Nightmares gonna live forever, bro. That's like perhaps a top 5 rap song of the 2010s, bro.
And like let's be real, like you could be like so brilliant and so talented and work so hard your whole life and never create something that will last as long as that song will last.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Forever, dog.
That's like the top of like You just weren't in your body when you made something. So
That's,
I don't know.
That's this generation's fuck them other niggas.
Basically.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you feel me? Like, we
Mhm.
played that shit at every sporting event. You know what I mean? And so kudos to him. I've never been a real big Meek Mill fan, though.
What's that?
I've never been a real big Meek Mill fan.
I
Though.
wasn't
like,
a huge
I
Meek
am.
Mill fan, but
Yeah.
I checked for his shit. You know,
I would check it, but I never like ran it. Also, 2010s, like, nigga, there was so much good music being made.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was kind of hard to stick with something for too long.
You just don't like Meek Mill because he gets so much pussy.
Hey, man.
Juicy pussy.
Hey, bro.
Get it right.
Pussy
So much
do
of
be
that
juicy,
juicy
nigga.
pussy.
Like, you feel me? You know, he spoke facts. He spoke facts.
Do it for me.
Do it for me.
Smiley face.
Bro.
Juicy pussy does it for me.
Tyler, who's your Dookie Butt of the week?
Oh man, we gonna have to we gonna have to retcon cancel a motherfucker. But you know, this isn't news to me. It might be news to some of our listeners. But this week, like March 2nd, was the 120th birthday of Dr. Seuss, and
Yeah, fuck
No.
that nigga.
yeah, all time asshole. You know, he's given us timeless work. You know, his children books are some shit that, you know, we were talking about Meek Mill making shit that is gonna live forever
Right.
for sure. Dr. Seuss's books are gonna live forever, and I mean, I guess here you can kind of separate the art from the artist, but
He was a
Dr. Seuss,
racist.
he was a racist motherfucker. And besides, and people are probably going to be like, oh, you can't get mad at a guy 120 years ago for being a racist, which I think is bullshit, because when in every period there are people who are anti-racist, right? Like
Right.
those examples are there. Like, you can't say, oh, slavery was the norm. No, the fuck it wasn't. There was a whole abolitionist movement and shit like that, right? But besides him being just, you know, a racist, that motherfucker was an asshole. Like, his wife got paralyzed from a medical condition, and he cheated on her with her best friend. And the wife knew. And
He
the
was acting
wife-
like an evangelical pastor, bro.
yeah, right. The wife knew, and the wife wrote, and the wife died by suicide, and she wrote a suicide letter where she was like, basically, she's like, yo, I'm leaving you before you leave me, because I know that's where this is going. So, you know, shitty person, a racist, terrible fucking husband. You know, this is a big wife guy pod, so we do not condone shit like that. So, you know, fuck Dr. Seuss, man.
Fuck Dr. Seuss. I don't know how you sit like 9 to 5, you're at the desk. The wootsits and tootsits and the hootsits and youtsits, and then 501 hits, and you're like, fuck black people, fuck my wife, fuck like,
Where's my wife best friend?
Where's my wife's best friend? I need some of that juicy pussy.
Right.
My wife's best friend. It does it for
Jesus
me.
Christ.
Fuck black people. I'm gonna go fuck my wife's best friend while she's paralyzed. What a piece of shit, man.
I heard they let a black guy into the Major League Baseball. Where's my wife's best friend?
Where's my wife's best friend? I got some issues to take out on that juicy pussy right now. Fucking racial progress happening, not on my watch. The Lorax and all that shit. Hey, that's. I ain't gonna say that. But
Thinking about juicy pussy back then, though. Woo. Nigga. When was that? When was he? When was he? Like what? Like the 30s, 40s?
yeah, that's when he got booming, like 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah, white people just started bathing, what, 20 years ago, nigga? They still don't bathe their legs. What the fuck? Ain't no way.
Trickle
Something
down
crazy
hygiene,
in
bro.
there, him and his wife's best friend. But anyway.
All right, boy. We'll have to do a segment on Dr. Seuss. I'm just like scrolling the Wikipedia. It's like, holy shit, bro. I knew he was racist. I knew he was an asshole. But it's like, you know, when you get to someone's Wikipedia and there's the political views section and you scroll it and it just keeps going. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, this was a deviant. Like this was. All right, Jackson, who's your Dookie Butt of the week?
My Dookie Butt of the week is the extremely dumb NFL Combine and NFL Draft questions that these athletes get asked. The example I'm going to pull is like an athlete making light of it and like an appropriate answer. But Rome Odunze, the receiver, number one receiver for the UW Huskies, was asked if he could save a plane that was going down, like if the pilots like got sick or something, and he was like,
My homie asked
fuck-
that question.
"Fuck no, they're all gonna die." Which is a hilarious answer. Shouts to Romo Dunze and shouts to your friend John for asking a really dumb question. But this is not about one singular question. It's about for years and years and years now. These pre-draft questions are like, are birds real? Like, what could you save a plane? Like all these ridiculous questions. And it's like some of it's kind of funny, and I'm down for fun and funny, but inevitably some of the questions like people take really seriously. And then the whole idea around these weird, obscure pre-draft questions and like draft processes for athletes in general, I just hate.
Yeah. Back to your that plane question that I loved his answer.
Great answer.
And a lot of people are like, no, you gotta have irrational confidence to be, a great NFL player. And bro, confidence and intelligence, bro, those are like two completely different things. And I feel like there's been a big fucking anti-intellectual movement going on the past few years. I appreciate a young man who's like, no, experts in their fields are experts whose expertise we need to lean on, right?
Green
Good
flag
for him for
drafting,
saying that.
no question.
Yes, because that is a guy who is going to, lean on the tutelage and the shit that he's going to be getting taught by coaches and staff in the fucking film room and shit. So I love that answer from that kid.
Me too. Go Dogs.
And the other part, the second unspoken part of the answer is if you ask an airline pilot to cover a receiver from the Vikings, he's going to be fucked too. So I have things I'm good at. He has things they're good at. So, we actually we talked about the combine shit a little bit. We went on the Gridiron Gals podcast. They've been obviously kind enough to come on our show a lot. And I felt a little bad afterwards because we were having a really funny conversation with them. And then someone said something about the combine. And I just kind of unloaded with I hear so many stories from guys I've known since they were kids who go through the combine. And it really is this great disillusionment process of going through the medical exams, which are very kind of dehumanizing. Yeah. And the truth is the reason they ask all those stupid questions is they're trying to see effectively how much mistreatment players will put up with, because they're going to get into the league. And at some point, someone's going to come to you and say, I need you to get this Toradol shot in your fucking knee. And I don't want you to ask anyone what the long-term effects of that will be. I don't, you know what I mean? That's why they're trying to see, do you get annoyed at people wasting your time for 2 hours? Do you get annoyed at people insulting your intelligence? Because guess what? You're going to be very well compensated, but people are going to be doing those things as long as you're with the National Football League. So I do think I agree with you on that it's a waste of time, but I think there's also part of me that believes that there is a really sort of sinister purpose to the way that event is set up, Jackson.
Yeah.
Bro, they flat out fucking asked Dez if his mom was a prostitute and if she smoked crack during the fucking combine.
They're not asking that for anything to do with football. They're asking that to see if someone in power challenges you in this way, are you going to snap at them, or are you going to, nod your head and grit your teeth? That's what they're like. And there's no...
Somebody in the crowd asked them that? That was a publicly asked question, or they asked them that behind closed doors, right?
Team interview.
Yeah, that's what I was... I think you... Yeah. That's what I
thought. Okay. John, your Dookie Bet of the Week.
Michael Jackson, bro.
Wow.
Are we canceling Michael Jackson?
According to Vince Staples, man, when Michael Jackson dying ruined the industry, dog. You know what I'm saying? So,
what was Vince Staples' theory on that? I'm intrigued to hear.
He just said the industry. He said when the year Michael Jackson dies, when Spotify started ruining the money and industry.
That was 2009.
Somebody was like, it's all Michael Jackson's fault. He was like, what do you mean? He said he died. Didn't he die in 2009 or something like that? And he was like, what
I remember
do you mean?
that was the first big, death on Twitter. And
and he was like, what year was Spotify created? And the guy was like, oh shit. So
yeah,
bitch has to. I don't know how he comes up with this shit though, but man,
bro, his Ray J theory on how Ray J is responsible, how everything kind of all comes back to Ray J in regards to the music industry is fucking hilarious, dog.
All right, that's all the time we got for today. Like I said, we'll be back on Tuesday with Mina Kimes for our Love is Blind recap, and then we're all very excited to watch the wedding. Is it the finale or is it the wedding episode? How do we refer to it?
It's the wedding
finale,
episode.
But then there's a reunion then, right?
There's a reunion.
Okay,
the reunions be messy as hell, so I recommend tapping in with that too.
Me, put a little hot sauce on it too. Yeah. Get
Have
ready.
any of you ever been as happy as Jeremy was on the jet ski?
Bro.
We will dive into that with me. I'm telling y'all, man. I told y'all the glow was strong in that one. I told y'all.
You are the scout that does not need to ask people insulting
Right.
questions about their mothers, bro.
I
You spotted
got that
him from
scout eye,
across the
bro.
fucking hallway, too.
I had
Yeah.
no idea, bro. I mean, that was just insane. Insane.
All right. We'll be back on Tuesday with Mino with our Love is Blind recap. Check that out. We'll see y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.